Hi, I'm Brent, and today I'm here with Director of Marketing Kevin Shane, and we're doing part two of our video on the buyer's journey. This time we're talking about content creation, delivery, and promotion. Today, we continue with part two of our conversation about the buyer's journey. Since the buyer's journey covers so much, we had to break it up into 3 videos. Now, we have about 20 minutes today to discuss content within the broader context of the buyer's journey to ensure it aligns to prospects. We'll broadly discuss 3 parts: content creation, delivery, and promotion. The goal here is to provide an overview of these 3 areas. Kevin, thank you for joining me. I'd like to go ahead and kick things off by asking you, if a company is looking to align to the buyer's journey with their content construction, where should they begin?
Thanks for having me. If they're looking to align to the buyer's journey, the most important thing is with content creation is aligning to the buyer's journey. And the reason for that is it provides a structure so that you start to think about measuring your content exactly to where someone's at in a process. So I talked a little bit about this in the previous video, but really the buyer's journey provides 2 benefits. It allows you to organize and identify your content appropriately. And the other thing it does is it allows you to determine appropriate results. What are the desired results that you want? And then be able to attain those at each step in which someone is moving through a process. And sometimes what it can really do is it helps you figure out, if you have good systems, figure out exactly where someone's at and then adjust your content, tune it based upon their behavior. So the buyer's journey is really a guide for you to construct your content. It really works as a guide. If you put the 2 together, the buyer's journey and content, you have an excellent path forward. So where do you begin with this thing? That's often the challenge. Like, okay, that's really grand, but what do I do and how do I even start with this? So what I try to do is I try to think about going from the general to the specific. So the best thing to do is you think about, I've got prospects and I've got customers. So when you look at the buyer's journey, it breaks that out perfectly. It says that there's a purchase and then post-purchase. So during this pre-purchase process, there's stages involved in that. So if you think about, well, what are their concerns and what are their questions at each stage of the process? And oftentimes, this kind of knowledge just comes naturally from sales. It's more about trying to evoke the content from within oneself rather than it be like it doesn't exist. Because if you've been in business any period of time, you've been engaging with people. Now you just have to figure out, you have to sort of organize it in your mind and go, okay, I see they've gone through a process. Sometimes people go through really fast because they have a bunch of knowledge already. And then other times people are like really slow, and they need things explained to them in order for them to move forward. That could be anything from payment, price expectation, competitor landscape information, technical information about your product and services, could be anything. So if you think really about, you go back and you think about, how do I align my content so that it helps people move forward in the process? Because it really changes your energy, focus, whatever way you want to describe it, where you're constantly thinking about, how do I deliver what people need as they move forward? It's like it's a really well, I just love the buyer's journey because it works no matter what business you're in. It's just a matter of tuning it. So think about how their questions inform you, eh, of how ready they are to buy, and that really will assist in the process. So that's how you build content. Really, that's how you
Mm.
create content.
Well, the great what you mentioned there, that the buyer's journey is used as a guide for your content creation, because a lot of people just create content with no real thought of it's just whatever top of mind. Oh, we got to create content on that. Oh, that's something that people are talking about. We got to create content on that, but they're not really thinking about it within the overall their overall buyer's journey. So that's a good tip that you mentioned there. So moving on to delivery of content, where there are so many areas, it can be overwhelming. Do you have any suggestions for focus, and can you say a bit about why you recommend them?
Yeah, when I think about content delivery, there's really two ways primarily to see that. One is looking at it in terms of on your website and off of your website. So I don't really want to get into offsite. We may have to cover that another time. And the reason for that is it's really massive and deals with both paid and unpaid. There's social. There's just many, many avenues and channels for trying to get content out. So what I want to really do is try to focus on on-site. Because that way you control your content, and there's many other benefits that you can get. You can always leverage these offsite ways as a way to drive traffic, but when you're talking about where do I put my content, how do I deliver my content, I want to focus on site. So there's three primary things I want to talk about. Two of them are very related, and I'll sort of go through that. So the first one is landing pages. Landing pages, people have experienced these things. So even though I'm using terms, you probably have seen this kind of thing before.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, landing pages are are designed where you go to the page and it explains something very specifically. They're often thought of in terms of linked to paid marketing, like Google AdWords campaigns, where you type in a keyword into Google and then the top 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever they are ads. If you click on those ads, so let's say you're talking about orthodontics, and you go there and there may be an ad for Smile Direct Club and for, I don't know, there's a couple others there. And then the other ones will typically be local dentists, local orthodontics that come up in the organic search. So on those paid ones, they're usually, since they're paying and you're typing in a keyword, their goal, they're paying, so they're optimized for conversion. And that's what landing pages are really about. They're optimized for conversion. They're trying to get people to convert. So if you think about your content delivery, you can design your content delivery as a mechanism for conversion, which is very powerful. That's a very, I throw that out there, but it's a very powerful concept. If you design something at certain points in the buyer's journey, here's a good example, is they're saying, compare Smile Direct Club to conventional orthodontics. Okay? And you're a local orthodontist. Then what you can do is you can create a page that's designed in order to capture a lead. You're explaining the difference between these two, and you can have a form there and say, contact us for a free examination and free quote or free estimate to get your orthodontics. Most orthodontists do that. So that's a good example of a landing page. You can create that content that's specifically designed for a certain stage in the buyer's journey and use that for conversion. Oftentimes those pages are SEO designed. They're designed so that they're found in search engines. So that typically takes a little more tuning and is done usually by a marketing agency or someone who really understands SEO in order to make those pages come up in search engine results. The next type of page where you can do content delivery are just standard web pages. So no matter where content resides, there's a matrix or a way for those who are engaged with your website to find the content. If you just create a page on your website and you don't link it throughout your website, there's really no way for someone to find that content. It makes it very difficult, or not at all. If it's not on navigation and there's no buttons or links or reference to anything, that's very problematic. So you got to really think about that in how you design your content, and that's really where a website company like us, what we do is we really try to think about how content merges with web design for maximum conversion of leads. So lead generation. So how do I utilize my website, whether I'm talking about driving traffic externally or using SEO to generate traffic, not leaving money on the table, not maximizing conversion through well-designed placement of links, pop-up boxes, little articles, references, HTML links, footnotes, things like that. And this really will go into the next item, which is blog posts. But let me talk for a second more about web pages. Typically, web pages can be on-site navigation or not. They don't have to be on navigation. So you can place your content onto a web page on your site, and they don't have to be on your upper navigation, but they do need to be promoted internally on your site. If not, how do people find the content? So this is something to think about. Your website pages can be up there. If they're SEO'd, all the better. But oftentimes that kind of information is more informative. They're not like landing pages that are specifically designed for conversion. There are ways for you to use that in order to attract traffic, but it's also wise for you to think about it in terms of, again, the buyer's journey. Not everyone's ready to buy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you're trying to jam yourself into a situation, you can really turn people off. There's not even a need to do that. The goal in earlier stages, before really early stage conversion, has to do with mind share, has to do with building relationship and rapport, not about conversion to lead or conversion to sale. It's more about, are they comfortable enough for me to get their information so I can provide them more information, so that I can deliver to them content ongoing. This is where we use things like lead nurture programs, email lead nurture. We get people to opt in, and it's not really designed to like close the deal today. It's designed to communicate with someone to help move them through a process. This is so important because during these times, people's buying cycle is extending longer. That's a natural outflow of tighter economic times or uncertainty, either one of those. And think about it just for yourself. If you were going to buy something that's expensive right now, your mindset is different. You're saying, should I wait? Should I think about this a little more? Let me be a little more thoughtful about spending this money. And then you go, well, maybe I should save a little more so that even after I have the big expense, it won't like wipe me out financially, because I'm not so sure about these times. Now, everyone's doing that. Businesses are doing that, and individuals are doing that, and that's unlikely to change in the immediate future. Not only because of the economic uncertainty associated with COVID-19 that we're going through, but also because one of the outgrowths of the COVID-19 is that people are shopping online more, which means that they are naturally extending the purchase cycle. It's a natural outgrowth of that. All right, so I covered the web page part. So let me jump on to the last part, which is blogging. I have a love-hate relationship with blogging. Probably the hate part is because I have to write so much. But there's also another part to it. Blogging certainly is work. There's no doubt about it. It takes a lot of creativity.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of time and takes energy. This is why most people opt to contract that out. There's good ways to make sure that your content is good, your content is solid with whoever you work with, and to constantly feed them ideas so that the intelligence that you have in your organization moves to the person who's doing that. You shouldn't just hire them and walk away. That's a really bad method. The best method is to work with whoever is building content for you to get feedback. I always try to get feedback from the sales team and go, can you give me something? Throw me a bone, help me out, give me an idea what kind of issues you're facing, or what are you discovering is our competitive advantage. So gathering information so that content can be built is super important. The blog, what's great about blogs is that basically you can do anything with them. You can put any type of content on there, meaning you can put video, audio, like I can put this video up on a blog page. You can write write and have a video. You can use the blog as sort of an ad for your content. You can use it as a way to recommend different solutions to people. And one of my favorite blog techniques recently is that is to if to do a product review on something that an individual is interested in that you don't sell. It's sort of an associated thing. So let's go back to the orthodontist. So the orthodontist may do something like a review of the best toothpaste or a review of, because what's going to happen is people that want to know like what's the best, let's just say fluoride free toothpaste, whatever. So they build the page that's about that. They're driving traffic for people that want fluoride free toothpaste. And of those people that are coming there, they may go, oh, wow, that's cool. This orthodontist is doing this. It's a way to get traffic to your site and also to broaden your appeal. It's a really good way of doing it, especially these, there's still a lot of space for that. So a blog allows you to do basically anything. Anything you want to do, any kind of content. You can answer people's questions. You can make it like an FAQ. They're archivable, they're current, they're searchable, they're linkable, they drive traffic, and Google loves them. That's probably the most important thing about it, is Google loves them. And if Google loves them, that helps your search ranking, it helps your presence. So those are my thoughts about content delivery. If you really focus on using your site to the maximum, that's the best place to start. And most people don't even do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's some good information on blogging. Also, another good takeaway that you mentioned earlier on the web pages was just indicating about how the context of the content, and that people aren't always ready to buy at that given time or whatever page they're on. Some of those pages are supporting that buyer's journey. And especially during this time with COVID-19, even though hopefully we're kind of coming out of it, people are spending a lot more time online and probably doing a lot more research. So you want to be careful on your messaging, make sure you're not over pitching on those pages and pitching where appropriately. All right, so on to the final area, promotion. Obviously, budget plays a role in promotion of content. Do you have any insights regarding this?
Yeah, that's I think it's sort of, all three of these areas tied together. There's somewhat of an overlap between your creation, your promotion. Each of these different areas work together. So with promotion, it sort of goes back to what I was saying about interlinking, thinking about how your website is designed in order to ensure that you're getting maximum play out of content. We use a product for many customers that allows for pop-ups to appear in an intelligent way. We can limit and control, how many times it appears so it's not annoying. We can make it specific to pages, which is really good because you can say, hey, if they're in this area of the site, it indicates to me they're ready to buy. These are buyers. So if I'm going to pop something up, I want to make sure what I pop up is specific to that. Or if it's just someone who's, just looking for general content, you may want to get them opted into an email list, where the other one, you really want them to be like, hey, contact us now, or, ready to talk. So you can see how the buyer's journey, awareness of the buyer's journey sort of regulates your behavior. You and I are both really saying the same thing, is just to become more aware that this isn't a binary experience. It's not, I say buy now or goodbye. You do not want that approach. That's not an appropriate way to do things. This is that approach is really a legacy approach that's completely inappropriate to the way in which digital marketing works. It's really important for people to take that in, to understand that is a very antiquated way, and we're not going back. If anything, we're going further. But going back to the promotion is that, you can, if you understand the buyer's journey, promotion is really essential because as you build your content, you're thinking about, well, is this right before purchase content, or is this really earlier stage educational kind of content? And if it's really close to purchase, then you can think about, well, what mechanisms can I use to drive traffic to this content? And is
Hmm.
this content the kind of traffic going to deliver the kind of traffic that people are willing to give me their information on? Is it going to convert to sale? Super important. This kind of thing varies during time. What we're seeing right now with COVID-19 is our customers that are doing e-commerce in certain areas have just skyrocketed. You go, gosh, everyone's closing down, everything's offline, everything's shutting down, no one's spending money. No, that's not the case. We've seen revenue and sales really take off for our e-commerce in certain sectors just have taken off. And, not in the B2B, more in the B2C area. So, you have to think about, well, what's the environment and then how do I promote?
Hmm.
What's the most important thing to do right now? Is it to build pipeline? Do I need to build pipeline? Like during this time, it's really important to build pipeline because it may not be so easy to convert your customers. It may be even hard to reach them. You may not even be in the office. So it's not a matter of like, oh, I gotta shut down my business. Things changed, I'm shutting down. That's a really
Hmm.
unwise thing to do. We actually had a customer who stopped several different things, and during that time she lost a lot of opportunity. She lost pipeline because she was so concerned and didn't want to she didn't want to let the seeds grow in the ground. She wanted instant fruit. Well, by wanting instant fruit, you really hurt yourself in the long run. And the long run in this case was only a month or two. It wasn't even that long. So, you have to think about how everything fits together. Again, the goal is really to produce some content so that you can get people to opt in either one way or the other if they're mid or late cycle, and early cycle is to garner traffic for interest, for mind share, so that you can start building rapport. We really want to get people into email nurture so that you can build a relationship with them, stay top of mind, communicate with them. That's something that we do a lot of. And we see tremendous success for companies that are willing to move into this area, that they already have a natural flow of traffic. And they've just been letting people, they've been paying to get people to their site all this time for
Hmm.
years. They've been paying for SEO, they've been paying for their website, they've been paying, and they've never been capturing anyone. They just let them come in the front door and walk out the back, and hopefully along the way they'll buy something. That's not a strategy. That's a hope. So the strategy is, as they come in, let's get them converted, opt into something so that then we can communicate with them. And we put in place these lead nurtures so that we can promote more content to people and help and assist in moving them forward. So promote with your existing systems, promote with what's close, which is on your homepage, your banner, your links, um, promote in different areas of your website, do cross promotion, interlinking of, and some of these things help with SEO, and then paid if someone is close to conversion.
Hmm.
You can also promote, as I mentioned earlier, with organic postings, like things like on social, and just keep your eyes open to opportunities for places where you can pay to drive your traffic to content. That's really the most effective way to do it, is to join your content, so that way that is what people are looking for. They may not be looking to buy specifically what you have, but they're shopping. And if they're shopping,
Hmm.
they want to know what to do, what to get, how to buy it, what's the difference, all the hows and whys and whats. If you can answer that in your content, the promotion becomes much easier.
Yeah, and that's a great analogy you had there with, it's a time to plant, get those seeds in the ground, and to let them start to grow so that you can get to that fruit. Because, storm might have came through and wiped out the crop, for a lot of people right now, but you can always replant and regrow, and that takes some effort, but then you get back into that cycle of having the fruit. Well, Kevin, thank you again for joining us for the second video, and we've got one more video in the series to do, so we'll have that probably in about another week or two. We'll do that next video.
Yeah, and that one's going to be on the values of content marketing. I talked a little bit about some
Okay.
of those things, but boy, I'm gonna try to dive in deep. That's nice.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that information with us today, and we will see you for the third video coming soon. All right. Thanks.
Great. Thanks so much.